This is the Note Closer Show, where you get the latest developments in distressed note investing and learn the secrets of how you can control millions of dollars worth of property for pennies on the dollar. Get educated and entertained by someone who has closed thousands of deals and lives to support you in achieving the same. Now, here's your host, CEO of We Close Notes, Scott Carson.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to this episode of the Note Closer Show. As always, Scott Carson, excited to be here with you today. And always jacked up to have our brother from another mother, our good buddy Merrill Chandler, join us here on this episode this month. As always, we're excited that Get Fundable is a sponsor of the Note Closer Show podcast. So we're excited to see him, as always, out here. And he is joining us from Salt Lake City this week. Huh, Merrill, how's it going, man?
Yeah, actually, it snowed for almost a week, and now it is the big, the Simpsons, those the blue skies with the little clouds. It looks like that outside right now, and but it's sunny and delightful. So I'm really happy, really happy.
Well, that's good stuff. And Merrill's coming off just his most recent class that he had, his 2-day Funding Hackers boot camp. We still call it Funding Hackers? We're calling it something else.
The Get Fundable. It's the Funding Hackers private Facebook group, right? It's the Funding Hackers is who we're supporting, but it's actually the Get Fundable, just like everything, the book, the podcast, it drives getting fundable. We want everybody to, there we go. We want everybody to be able to get fundable.
Exactly. If you have not heard him on on one of our podcast episodes before, he is the author of the new F Word. I encourage you to go out there on Amazon, grab you a copy of it. It is the credit Bible. He is the Messiah out there of really sharing and really breaking really unthought of or unbeknownst myths that are actually falsehoods out there in the industry. So one of the things we were sitting here talking before we got started. But anyway, you can pick that up. Amazon, the new F Word by Merrill Chandler. Great book, must read.
Yeah, absolutely. You can also, I'm giving it out free to people who listen to Scott's podcast. If you go to getfundablebook.com, getfundablebook.com, it's free. You cover shipping. I bought the book for you. So let's come and check it out, because it as a high-performance fundability coach, this thing, I'm just getting rave reviews, and I'm super proud. I got to tell you, Scott, my mom calls me up, leaves me a message because I couldn't take the call. So I call my mom back, and my dad's with her. She's like, Merrill, I'm so proud of you. And I'm like, what? Okay, thank you. I love you. Thank you very much. She's like, I could understand your book. I was like, mission accomplished. Thank you. I'll be here all week, because it's readable, right? Readable. Now, I did tell you once upon a time, Brad, my business partner, he has software that kind of reviews all of the language and I was writing at postgraduate, grade 16 level, and we got it down to lower than that, right? And my mom was thrilled. It's not simplistic at all, but complex circumstance or complex ideas, being able to deliver those, I'm just thrilled that people are like eating it up. So take a picture of your book, test selfie with the book, send it to me, and I'd love to know your comments.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey guys, make sure you get it. Take a picture, send it to him, tag him in it, and he'd love to hear your comments for sure.
Yeah, put it on the Get Fundable Facebook page. Get Fundable Facebook page. We'd love to see your shiny mug there with your. Somebody's now going to take a picture of a coffee mug with a book.
That's the next thing, coffee with Merrill. But anyway,
coffee with Merrill.
As we're filming or recording this, we're in the second half of February. It's hard to believe that the year is already a tenth of the way gone.
Cruising. Yeah.
It is cruising this year, definitely. And a lot of people have had that post-Christmas New Year's blues because they've gotten their credit card statement, so they've gotten other things that sent to them. They're like, wah, 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 wah. You know what I mean? And a lot of them, and I'm starting to see this pop up, and it's become very rampant on Facebook. It's become rampant in other places of people reaching out, let us help you fix your credit or credit repair your stuff or help you with a credit consolidation aspect.
Yeah, debt consolidation loan, right? Or hey, let us help. Well, they say, hey, we'll help you consolidate your debt, thinking that it's a debt consolidation loan, which is helpful if you do the right kind. I mean, there are some push and pulls when it comes to the what we call debt shifting strategies, but a installment loan is always better than high revolving account balances if you don't go charge up your account balances again. But these credit consolidation or these debt consolidation houses, it's pure evil. We'll be doing on my podcast a liars, cheaters, and thieves, because they make it sound like, yeah, we can almost have your credit card payment. But here's what they don't tell you, Scott, and it is they do not tell you anything of the truth. And the truth is that the creditors, your lenders who have lent you money, if you do not pay as agreed, you will get a 30, 60, 90-day late, and et cetera. Now, it may not go to charge off, but if you have one of these debt consolidators come to you and say, hey, guess what? Or go to your lenders and say, hey, can we reduce the interest, and or can we reduce the payment? Can we just do 70% of the payment? Lenders will most of the time will agree. But what the debt consolidators don't tell you is that if they're agreeing to that, you're also going to get either a notation on your profile that says in credit counseling, which is a death knell. That hits your profile as much as a bankruptcy does.
Wow.
A Chapter 13 bankruptcy. Or it's going to go through and give you, and it's going to tell you that you're not paying as agreed. So it'll go 30 days late, 60 days late, 120 days. It can go out as a total before charge off of 180 days late. And if you have a rolling charge going 180 late, 180 late, 180 late, you've just butchered your credit profile, guys. You completely ruined it. And you thought you were doing a solid by trying to consolidate the debt. So, using a consolidation house, a debt consolidator, is no bueno. Don't do it. Whatever, beg, borrow, and steal from your family, friends, or otherwise. If you need to do that, do not use a debt consolidator if you have any interest in keeping your credit profile in decent shape. The way to do that, the strategies to do, is to obtain a loan. And those loans are tricky because they're going to be, now remember, when you do a loan right now, if you're paying your credit card at 4%, that 4% is going to, a $10,000 a credit card may take you 23 years to pay off at that because you're only paying 4% of the total plus interest. No bueno. If you get a loan, you got to be prepared. If you're having trouble right now making payments of the credit cards, remember, they're going to take that entire debt and then they're going to put it down to 3 years or maybe 5 years. So you'll pay less interest, but you're going to have a higher payment over time. So the best thing to do is let's go in the Wayback Machine to November when we had our podcast, and don't go into consumer debt under any circumstance. If anything's at risk in your financial future, because now here we are mid-February and we're looking at going, now what am I going to do? So yeah, that was a long answer to a short observation.
That's okay. But that's what they talk about. Like, oh, we're going to take all your credit card payments and cut it in half and put it into one payment. And then they're going to basically then divvy up who gets that payment, right?
Correct.
And it's going to be partial payments, or technically, and if you have 3 trade lines doing that, it's going to show negative on all 3 of those.
You're going to get delinquent report. You're going to get delinquent ratings on every single account you include in that. And the thing is that, and so many times, and I was susceptible to this back in the day, right? Until I read about it, I'm like, oh, I don't want to do that, because I've always had for a very long time, I had good credit. Then I went to, then I had my exciting time in the big house. And then I didn't have any credit, and now I've rebuilt an entire profile, right? So the whole point of this is to create a manageable and intelligent way of having strategic debt, and then only using debt to make money. That's the funding game, right? Where you use other people's money to leverage it, fix and flip, buy a note, convert non-performing to performing. Anything that will make you money is debt instrument worthy. And to get those debt instruments, we of course want to build our personal borrower profile so that we have the goose that keeps laying golden eggs. So there is a strategy to it. There is a way of making sure that you are intelligent, or you choose a very wise and intelligent choices. But we got to know what we're getting ourselves into, because everybody's willing to take advantage of us. I mean, so many people out there, it's no bueno.
I was cracking up because I was getting literally, I think the credit card companies were reinvigorating their budget because I was getting just hammered with pre-approvals in the mail. I'm like, nope.
Yep.
Now
that's the other thing, right? Don't accept offers. Don't put a code in, promotion code, activation code, whatever they're saying, because now they're just fishing. They're looking for susceptible borrowers, and you're actually showing yourself as a rookie, and they'll take advantage of you as a rookie borrower, right? Now, one thing I would like to cover that most people don't know, if it comes to settling a debt, if you're something behind, you're going to take a hit. But I do recommend that if you did a collection, had a charge off something, make sure that that if you settle it, make sure that you ask the lender to say settled in full, not settled for less than full balance. Those are two different indicators that get graded differently after the fact. So settled in full, not settled for less than full balance. That less than full balance triggers another negative indicator, and we're just gonna have one more thing that goes sideways on us because we've been in debt or we had these problems.
That's a really good thing, because ask it. I mean, they want their money or a portion of it, and it's basically what is it? Picking a button or two of what they say once you get that payment in, right?
No, truly, that's all that it is. So.
Should you send wine?
Well, no. Well, we send wine to clients who are what's the word? Who hit their funding targets. I have a little button on my database that says, congratulations. You click the button, it pulls up wine.com, and then we have it's to the champagne pages. My team clicks a button and it sends a nice little box out to the client for to be able to celebrate.
Nice.
So yes,
Nice. Now let's go back a little. Let's take a step back here, because there's a question that popped up here about on those debt consolidations. Because a lot of people every month they're paying. Okay, I'm gonna pay my minimum payment is $75. I'll pay $100. This other one's $80. I'll pay $125 to this one. This other one's $200. I'll pay $250.
Yeah.
To working and what's the best way? Was it better for them to look at which ones have the higher percentage? Because I know you always say, hey, you want to be down below 40% of your credit balance, or available credit.
Yeah, of your limit. There is a strategy. There's two strategies out there. One's called kind of the waterfall or the cascade, but we don't use that term because we have a funding cascade that we use to in banking traffic. But if you're looking to create fundability, I mean, this is just one more thing. We encourage people to pay down their tier 1 cards first to 40%, then tier 2 cards, then tier 3, then tier 4. Now, sometimes you may be paying a little higher or a little more in interest. So if it's purely a financial decision, if you're rock bottom and you can't do a thing, then you want to pay down the higher interest rates because that will lower your interest costs over even let's say it takes you 6 months or 2 years to get out of 27 years of debt because you just add more and more payments to it. So those are the two models, and it depends on what your values are, what your goal is. If you're looking to create, if you're trying to save money because we haven't made the best choices when it comes to our ultimate long-term goals, then no harm, no foul. Look at your rate of return and look at where you're paying the most interest. But if you're looking for fundability, then now there's more to it. Our software does all of this, but I'm just going to tell you guys all tier 1 to 38%, all tier 2, 38%. All tier 3, and then all tier 4. Once you're at 38%, so you can still use those same priorities, tier 1, 2, 3, and 4. But it's about the next threshold, as we teach, is you want to go to 20%, and then ultimately the 7. After 7%, then there's the boot camp tricks that we do to really start showing off to the lenders and to FICO's algorithm, right? I've never used that term before. We're showing off. So.
Now, let's say somebody's got, this was a scenario that's a friend of mine ran by me the other day. I was like, I don't know, this is a good question to ask Merrill. He's got a vehicle. He's got a truck that he's had for 5 years, almost paid off. Right. And so his balance is like $2,000, well below like the blue book value of like 20, 25 on what his truck is. Low mileage and stuff like that. Maybe it's 15 anyway. I don't know. But he was curious if it would hurt his credit because he's afraid after listing, he's going to lose in like 3 or 4 months. He's going to lose that trade line of having the vehicle.
Right.
And he's got this higher interest rate. Would it be beneficial for him if he can qualify to go get a new loan, pull some cash out, do a new loan on the truck, and use that to pay off the higher loans? Is it a derogatory to pay off? Because a refi on a truck is always going to be a higher interest rate than a brand new purchase, right?
Generally speaking, and depends on whether or not you got it at your credit union or a bank that has a relationship with you versus one of the finance companies like Toyota Motor Credit, Ford Motor Credit, et cetera. So generally speaking, the lower interest rates come with are also countered with rebates, which equal the same amount if you have a paper. But now, is this loan over 24 months old?
I think it is. I think he's had it for 4 years, I think, at least is what he's had.
So I always bring that into consideration because there's two. One of the things that we talk about is there for scoring of installment loans, including auto loans, is that there's a balance factor contribution to your score, and then there is a term. If it's under 24 months old and it is above 50% balance, you're getting both score contributions. But if he's been over 40, if it's 48 months, then I would say he's flatlined on his contribution for the term. So I would. That's one more consideration to throw in a refi. If he does have equity in it, then it's always, and you're already losing points. There is no derogatory thing. Is he above 50% on the balance?
Oh no, I think he's like at like $2,500 is what he's at.
Yeah, refi and get rid of the old one just for fundability purposes, and it will also, if he can pick up that extra cash or, like you said, harvest some equity out of it, or otherwise that's in my world that's a bonus. But that would be a big deal for being able to help his ultimate fundability by getting that trade line back on there as an auto loan. Yeah,
he was telling me he's got, like with Chase Bank, he didn't do the 0% like we talked about. He's at, I think, 5.5% or 6%. He was saying something that's not bad. So it tells you didn't even do the 0% for 72 months and paying all that interest on the back end anyway. So
yeah, well, that's what I was referring to. If he would have gone to probably got to take advantage of the rebate, because the 0% would have been with Ford Motor Credit or Toyota Credit, et cetera. But if you took the rebate, it lowers the price, but it's exactly the same amount of savings if you have a paper. If you can qualify for that zero interest, they're trying to move product, right? That's why they're tier 4. They're no different than the equipment leasing or whatever, right? It's just they want to make a little bit of money, but they want to move their profit is in moving product. Same with the auto industry, but that rebate will equal the amount that he saved that he would have financed. So it feels like he's paying interest, but depends on how much lower the price of the vehicle was.
Cool. I'll be glad to pass it on to him, because he was curious about that the other day. He's like, I got this truck, some equity in it. Is this going to hurt me? And I'm like, I don't think so. I think it's not, you're going to lose a trade line in a few months, 6 months roughly, I guess. But.
Normally that's a 10 to 20% hit if it's his only vehicle, or 10 to 20 point hit if that's his only vehicle. So we want to make sure that he refinances that out, especially since he's flatlined on both. That thing is not giving him any juice other than having the notation for an auto loan or vehicle loan.
Well, he was also considering putting the $450 or whatever the month payment is towards his credit cards, and other things are towards savings too. So he's trying to. I was like, well, I was sure. He said when it drops off, it's going to hit the score a little bit, because he's no longer got that trade line for 16 months or whatever it was that he financed. So, but that's a good question, because a lot of people are
again that's is it cash or fundability, right? Because strategic debt is important for fundability, and that's how we're going to leverage other people's money to make money. But if he's trying to get out of consumer debt, if he's trying, so picking one fundability thing out of 70, yes, it will help, but will that 450 towards credit cards or other things be better, right? So
yeah, that's the thing. Can he knock down some of those higher interest rate credit card balances, or get it below the 38, 35%?
38%. Yep.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. Now, one of the things that's always interesting out there, because that's the thing, people are always looking where can they find money, where can they put to put things to work. Because we talk to a lot of people that are, they've based their bills on the fact that they were working extra hours, or that overtime they were including in the salary.
Yep.
And as things tighten up, people get laid off, things happen, they're now not making, their budget is not working effectively.
Yeah. That's one of the things that we did. We started on that, but I did an entire podcast episode on the value of a team member and of an employee here versus going somewhere else, right? And I always taught my team, hey, you guys have I have like moderate salaries and high bonuses, right? I want you to if you're making things happen, I want you to be able to have a win. But then I scold them. I'm like, I don't care if you have 2 years of bonuses above, let's say it's another $500 or whatever it is. Do not build your budgets to include the bonus. Do not live on your salary. And then you can buy things outright or put down payments or do whatever you want with your bonus money, but do not build your life on the salary. Because and I'll share with you a little bit of what that was, because I said your value to me as an advisor, as a team member, as a strategist is so much more than you would get out there if you went and found a new job, or we had layoffs or whatever it was, right? Because I want you to be rewarded for being the genius in this business, but you're making so much more here than you will make out there, that if you're living on the bonus, because I've been called a little generous every once in a while, and the thing is I tell them, do not live on the money that includes your bonus. So wise counsel from both of us, because can't do it. You'll end up upside down, and you got to go find a job, and that there's not, yeah. The longer you're with me, the more value to anybody who's out there on a W-2. the longer you're with an employer that continues to value, train you, and raise your salaries, that may not necessarily translate in a new position somewhere else. And now what are you going to do? So
that brings up something here too. I mean, like what you're saying, you don't want to become the Clark Griswold around Christmas family vacation behind the pool on a bonus, right?
Right. That is the greatest movie, and that was, hey, you mad props for a Clark Griswold reference. That's the best of all pop culture.
That's the difference between getting the annual bonus instead of it being the Jelly of the Month Club. You know,
Jelly of the Month Club,
gift that keeps on giving year round, right?
Such a great movie.
A great movie, exactly.
But great reference, man. You pulled that one out of the hat.
But let's talk about something else here, because with us having so many entrepreneurs and so many real estate investors out here, especially people that are working a full-time job, they're working at a JOB, they started an entity. You can really, you really need about 24 months, 2 years of seasoning on the LLCs to kind of help you get fundable on the business side of things, right, Merrill?
Yeah, the age, there's two parts to it, right? The age needs to be 24 to 36 months, depending on the institution, before they'll give you a business line of credit. You can get a business checking account, business credit card, even some loans, but 24 months for a business line of credit. But that's just to get in the door. Then we establish a relationship. See, so we tell people, hey, let's start this thing at 12 months, but we need to build a relationship for at least 12 more months. So we cross that finish line, but we've already done all the heavy lifting to build a good business lending relationship. So you're absolutely right.
Now, when they go into the bank or they're applying for a line of credit, should they say that they're self-employed or they're employed? What's the big thing? Because I know the answer to this. I know there's an aha thing to this, but it's a lot of us like, oh, I'm self-employed. I'm all excited to be self-employed versus working for somebody. And there's a big no-no to that, right?
Yes. So there are two ways that I just had a coaching call with one of our clients. So two things. What somebody says, I'm still W-2, but I'm starting to kill it out here in my consulting firm, or I'm investing in real estate, whatever it is. And I say, you put on the top line of your application whichever is making more. So you are employed by your company if that is making more revenues than you're making at your W-2. But if your W-2, and that's the crossover point, right? If your W-2 is making more money than your business, you're still going to fill out your business. You still want a qualified fundable entity, but that's where we're going to focus the juice, right? People come to me all the time. Their QFE, the qualified fundable entity, isn't making anything yet, but they're still W-2. And so I'm like, there's a way to do this in every situation. You prioritize for whatever's making the most, including which you list on your credit profile. If the top line is, let's say in my case, Credit Sense versus Echelon, then I'm going to order it that way. But if Echelon's making more than Credit Sense, then I'm of course going to make my fundable entity, my W-2, is going to stay on top. So that's a really powerful way to explain how do you prioritize and where do you know that you can cross over. I tell people, stay at your W-2 until you make more money with your fundable entity for at least a year, and then start considering whether or not you're going to be employed only by your QFE. You're always employed by a company. You're never self-employed. Never self-employed. You're always employed by a company. Remember, the QFE, for those of you who attended the boot camp, you guys know this. Those of you who read my book, you know this. The qualified fundable entity is designed to create to be attractive to lenders. And so you are employed by it, and it is separate from you. You are not your deals. You are not your companies. You're not your business. So you're independent of those. In fact, we're working on building our fundability app, right? And I just whiteboarded before we're getting in here because I've got a meeting with some investors. But I actually whiteboarded me versus the entities and who has the knowledge, and then where's the subject matter expertise at selling that, getting a consulting contract. I do the exact same thing I teach every single one of our students, right? Is you are not your deals. So keep them separate. You're always employed, whether it's by an entity of which you have control or one that you don't have control, but you're always employed. That makes you safe to lenders.
Yeah, and that's a big thing too. I think a lot of people struggle with this because I've seen this from over and over again. I've seen this people calling me up, oh my God, I got to refinance my house, but I don't have enough money to get refinanced. I don't qualify for a loan because I've been self-employed. I haven't been paying myself first. I'm like, you got to pay yourself first in some sort of fashion with paying you a salary or paying you something that goes in to start showing that cash flow going in. It may not need to be the full salary immediately. Like if you're making $8,000 from your W-2, hey, maybe start at $1,000 a month. Start getting that cash flow up.
You start doing, you got to do something. Yeah, you cannot be self-employed. Never be self-employed. And if you guys haven't, for those of you who haven't gone to the boot camp, we do a deep dive. I love it. Scott's literally casting a skipping stone across a 700-foot lake, right? There is so much to really figure out here, and there are answers that every one of us can use. We can implement the second we learn them.
Yeah, it definitely can. Now, here's another thing for you. I'm going to throw this out there at you as well. You talked about tier 1 credit cards, tier 1 lenders, people are starting off going to and building those relationships at those tier 1 banks versus a local credit union or something like that. If somebody's starting off on that stuff, I like the tier 1 banks because that means I can actually use them when I'm traveling if I have to go into a bank versus my local credit.
Like Deseret Credit Union.
Yeah. Let's talk a little about that. Those are immediate effects on that stuff if you've got a well-known bank on your accounts or not really when it comes to checking.
And by immediate effect, what are you referring?
I mean, like, is it help boost things up having your entities with accounts there versus the local credit union?
So everything that so remember, there are things, and I explain this really well in the book, but fundability, the principles of fundability have been generated for my 25 years of experience because we're pulling in what we've learned from FICO world. We're pulling in what we've learned from lenders. We're pulling in from our approval modeling, right? All these things to establish fundability. So FICO doesn't distinguish between tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 banks when it comes to scoring. But a lender who sees tier 1 on your profile and sees that you have relationships with those peer banks, right? Peers, then the modeling, then FICO doesn't care, but all of a sudden we're attractive. We're attractive to the peer lenders. Chase is going to take Wells Fargo, your relationship with Wells Fargo, very seriously. Citi's going to take a look at U.S. Bank and go, yeah, I like these guys, right? And while this is underwriting software, it's still salient because what we're trying to do is, I always tease that it's easier to marry down than marry up, right? So if we have tier 1 on our personal profile, then we can go to tier 2, tier 3 banks and be like, hey, I'll take you. I know you'll accept me because I'm awesome. Have you seen my profile? It's gorgeous.
I'm the prom queen. You're going to take me.
Right. And so they'll play ball with us because that's our because tiers matter. So
it's a tier class system. It's like India.
It's a tier class system, and I only date supermodels that are financial institutions.
That's good stuff out there. That's really good stuff. Now,
but remember, that is what we're saying, right? That is, we're establishing a relationship so that others can see that we are playing the game with professional players, right? FICO does measure if you're down getting a finance institution, even if you're going one of these fintechs, right? The SoFis, the Prospers, the Marcuses, they're tagging you with like, yeah, he's slumming now, right? So they tag us with this, with these bad financial reputations, right? He's out with the harlots, and I'm like, okay, you know what? We need to do an entire show of the dating the dating corollaries between building business relationships
it'd be like,
and
it'd
dating
be like
out in the world.
Yeah, it'd be like you, and then you've got like 3 blind creditors, and then like you could flip it over. We'll offer this. And we call it the dating game, the credit dating game.
Yes, that would be a good show. That would be a great show. That would be fun. Because I'm telling you, there are so many similarities that it's just scary. I mean, how you wine and dine and romance a lender, it's identical. So there you go.
So Merrill, with what's your schedule looking like? I mean, you're going to be at a few events. You're going to the national.
Yeah. In fact, we announced for your folks. Our next 2 boot camps, depending on when you see this, our next 2 boot camps are on March 7th and 8th.
March 7th and 8th.
March 7th and 8th, Saturday and Sunday, and then April 4th and 5th. So, by the way, our May one may actually be a Friday and a Saturday because the Salt Lake City RIA, Real Estate Investors Association, is hosting it, but it's in Utah, so none of the LDS folks want to do give away their Sunday, so we may do a Friday and a Saturday. So it's going to be but that's kind of the next 3, March 7th and 8th, February 4th and 5th, and May 1st and 2nd. So go to getfundablebootcamp.com. Also, this weekend, Saturday, I leave for the NRIA cruise, the National Real Estate Investors Association, and the NRIA cruise. This 5 years now. 5 years I've gone on this cruise and meet wonderful people, and it's in the Caribbean. I'm taking a couple members of my team. Jess and Sky are both going, boot camp coordinator and referral partner. So it's a work trip, but if you're going to work, you might as well. Hey, if you're going to work, let's see I'll show you where you should be doing it. Right here. We should be doing it right here.
Yeah.
That's where we should be doing it.
I like that there, the video in the background, and the Bahamas, man. Yeah, man. Caribbean, man. Yeah.
The Caribbean. Yeah. So there's my play right there.
Love it. I love it out there. Once again, everybody, you can find out and sign up for those 3 different classes. Like you said, March 7th and 8th, April 4th and 5th, and May 1st and 2nd by going to getfundable.com/bootcamp.
Yep. Or getfundablebootcamp.com. Both of them take you there. But here's the thing. Get it now, and then you can transfer for April, because we only post the dates on one, right?
Yep.
But you can transfer. It's transferable. So totally, it's an amazing time for us to be able to do a seriously organized takedown of fundability, right? Discuss the 3 pillars of fundability. You got to have a fundable personal borrower profile, a fundable business entity, and a fundable fundable borrower behaviors. And we discuss all 3 of those in just insane detail.
Love it. Yeah, it's one of the most important classes that you'll ever take, not only for yourself, your business, but your future as well out there. Yeah. And then one of the big things, are you going to be in San Diego for the next in April as well for Magnify Your Wealth too?
Yeah. Yep. Awesome. So we're there. So yeah, so that's kind of, yeah, we've got and we've got some online things. Like this afternoon, I'm going to be on Monday Night Madness or whatever with Tracy and I don't know the name of their thing, but
Marketing Madness, basically.
Marketing Madness, that's Monday it.
Marketing
and
Madness.
I'm kind of the stand-in. I think Tracy is out there. It has other commitments, so it's going to be me and Juliet. Woo!
There you go. Well, I'll be tuning to that one. I'm working on my PowerPoint for Note Night in America tonight. So
awesome,
good stuff there. Well, hey, Merrill, thanks for coming on the Note Closure Show. Have a safe trip. Watch out for that coronavirus. Make sure you use plenty of hand sanitizer.
I'll have my own Coronas, so the virus won't get me.
There you go. Good stuff, man.
Okay.
All right, guys.
It's always a pleasure. Thanks, man.
Yeah, same here, man. Always a pleasure. Well, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this episode. Go check it out. GetFundableBootcamp.com. GetFundableBootcamp.com. Check out $97 for a 2-day live online event. Save your airfare. Save your hotel bill. Save your food. Learn credit from your pajamas for 2 days.
Yes.
And get rock and roll. I guarantee that the whole staff will not be wearing pajamas, though. That's a good thing, right?
Right.
Good stuff, guys. We'll see you all at the top, everybody. Bye.